So here we are, Pro Golf Gals, with a legend of Australian golf, Jane Crafter, who I've known for
long time.
I think my first Australian team
Yeah.
when we went to England.
That was 1978.
Right.
Yeah. We were slips of lasses.
Yes, very.
Yes, exactly.
So Jane, your record for Australian golf and overseas as well has been phenomenal. Like you've won the Masters, the Australian Open. What else have you won? You've won nearly everything because you are a legend.
Yeah, I won 2 Ladies Masters,
Yep.
which was a great thrill. But I think winning your National Open, Dennise, is just the pinnacle.
I can't. Yeah.
And so I think the 1997 Australian Open at Yarra will probably be, my fondest memory. I won one official LPGA event, that was back in 1990, and then also the first ever professional win. A couple of them came on the mini tour in the States.
Fantastic. Because you're one of the first, weren't you, to go overseas like in that and really do well. So.
Yeah, well, I think, I followed obviously Jan Stevenson, Penny Pultz, Sandy McKenzie did a year on the LPGA before me.
Okay.
Yeah, back in 1980. And then I followed in 1981. So when I went over to America, I got my card on my second try. I caught like the flu or something in the middle of the first qualifying school.
Yeah.
But that was great because I could also spend some time playing professional golf on the mini tour at the time. So that sort of taught me what was required. And I think that's a great way. Now they have the Symetra tour for the LPGA, which is the feeder tour, and you graduate through that particular tour to the LPGA. So yeah, it's it's a great way to learn.
Been a very, very good career though. And now, are you playing on the seniors tour? You
Yes,
aren't. I noticed you played in the US Women's Seniors.
I did. I played in the US Senior Open.
Yeah, that was great.
And I finished tied for 4th.
Fantastic.
Which was a huge thrill.
Yeah.
But no, I was one of the founding members of the Legends Tour back in 2000. It's been a lot of ups and downs for our senior tour. It's for age 45 and over.
Okay.
But 50 is the cutoff for the Senior Open.
Okay, that's good. Because you don't want to be playing against 45-year-olds, really.
Well, it's tough when you're not 45 anymore.
Yeah.
I won't tell you how old I am.
And do you play very much, though? Or do you practice? You still get out there?
I do. I'm just really coming off some time off, which has been great. And you notice I have a little brace on my knee. I've got some pretty good arthritis and a couple of bone spurs in my hip, so I'm not as fit as a fiddle as I used to be.
That happens to all of us.
Yeah, well, it does, but you got to sort of learn to play with your, with the things that you've got.
Exactly.
And trouble is with the Senior Open, I have to walk 72 holes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a bit of a challenge. So
are they likely to change that ruling to allow you to...
You can petition for a cart, but it's got to be a fairly significant
This looks significant.
injury. Yeah, well, we'll see. But I'm going to give it a go.
Good on you. And what about what you've been doing with the commentating?
Right.
So you've been in commentating and...
About 20 years actually, because I retired from the tour in 2004. But I got my foot in the door doing TV commentary in the late 90s.
Yep.
So that was great. I've worked with ESPN, NBC, Golf Channel. Now I'm actually doing less with the LPGA and Golf Channel. I'm doing more with the men's golf, PGA Tour Live, which overseas is called Golf TV. And it's a digital live streaming. So I'm out on the course or I'm in the studio following like whole groups for 18 holes, so you get to see every shot. So you see sort of the ebbs and flows of everyone's round, and not just cutting from great shot to great shot. And I think it's really informative for the viewer.
I've been watching that at home as well on the live, and I really like the commentators, because it's a tough gig being a commentator, but I really like the commentators who are educating the viewer.
Right.
And you do, I'm not just buttering you up, because
thanks.
but you do a super job.
Well, thank you. And I think that's obviously Dad commentated with Peter Thompson over here for the ABC for many years, and that's one thing. Peter obviously had the resume, 5 times British Open champion. Dad did not, but he was a great coach.
Yeah, and a great commentator.
Yeah, but he tried to educate. He tried to give people different ways of playing different shots that the pros might be facing, and so that's something I've tried to do in my commentary. And it's always a thrill to be back here doing the Women's Australian Open and being the analyst.
But you come home quite a lot, don't you?
Not as much as I'd like.
Okay.
I was back a couple months ago, actually doing. I was just visiting family. My niece had a baby girl.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
So I'm a great aunt to little Millie now, which is great.
A great aunt. I can't believe it.
Not a good aunt. I'm a great aunt. And then also, I had a great honour at the Men's Australian Open. I received the Australian Golf Media Association's Honorary of the Year.
Congratulations! I meant to mention that because I did see it, but I meant to mention that.
So that was really exciting and a great honour because it not only honoured my playing career, but also what I've done in broadcasting and really just sort of following in Dad's footsteps.
Which
in that
must
regard.
really touch your heart and make you feel very proud.
Yeah.
But you're doing some course architecture as well?
No, I'm technically a design consultant for Neil's company.
Okay.
Neil and his partner Paul Mogford from Melbourne have crafted Mogford Golf Strategies, and I'm sort of on the masthead, but there hasn't really been a project quite yet that was really needed my input. There was a couple of ones that could have worked out, but they didn't pan out.
Right.
But yeah, it's something I wouldn't mind getting into. I see Kari is doing that
Kari's doing
now with Ross Perrott.
But I think it's important, isn't it? Because especially for the average woman golfer, to get more women playing golf, I believe we have to set golf courses up so that they can score super well and enjoy themselves.
I think if you've got a woman's perspective too, and not just have a tee just plopped down somewhere that doesn't even really relate to how the golf hole's played. So many times you see tees way left or way right and they're on a really bad angle compared to the other tees. So it's not just one women's tee. I'd like to see, all the golf courses have at least 5 separate tees. So even, older men could play from, with whatever colour tee you want to call it.
A lot of courses
maybe
are
we should just change red because red, everyone thinks red's women's tees.
Yeah.
Call them, they have different, call them the number 1 pine, number 2 pine. Yeah, call them names. Yes, call them something different.
Names so we don't get that. It's interesting, one of our friends, Sue Shapcott, do you know Sue?
Yes, I do know Sue
Yeah, she said you were neighbours and then
we were.
Yeah, just for a short time.
She was just around the corner in close to downtown Phoenix.
Yeah, so Sue had a question for you. Sue's question was, who would be your best playing partner that you ever played with? Do you like to play golf with in a tournament?
I actually have a couple of really good playing partners, like who I would like in my threesome. One of them happened to be Ayako Okamoto, who's in the LPGA and World Golf Hall of Fame. She had the most beautiful rhythm and just effortless power and just a delightful person to be around. And the other one was Meg Mallon. Meg is a very good friend of mine. We used to live close to each other in South Florida when I lived down there. But Meg, one of the most gregarious, just sweetest people with an absolutely gorgeous rhythm and a great putting stroke. In fact, Ayako and Meg are probably 2 of the best putters I've ever played with.
And you're a brilliant putter, probably still are, so that must have been a great...
known to make a few putts.
You've got a smooth...
Although I have to say, getting beaten by Lindy Goggin a couple of times made me work harder on my putting.
You could be a pro in any other sport.
In any other sport.
I love tennis. I played a lot of tennis. Not with that knee, no. So I can play golf longer now than I could have played tennis. But I played tennis a lot as a kid. Enjoyed my tennis lessons, represented the school in tennis because we didn't have golf teams. I like to see, someone like Alison Whittaker doing so well.
You're a great mentor for them, and it's very much... I shouldn't say it, but was when you went in very much a man's world.
Yes, and it still is to a degree. You've got Dottie Pepper, Judy Rankin, but it's easier for women to get into the women's commentary game. But Dottie Pepper's done it in the men's game for CBS. Alison has done quite a bit as well.
Maureen Medill was doing it in Europe.
Exactly. So it's really cool to see.
We're not being sexist, but golf is changing, but it's still very much male dominated, isn't it? In every field, admin,
we're working on
coaching.
It.
We're working
on
and hopefully we stay alive long enough.
I hope so.
Thank you,
exactly.
Jane.
You're welcome. That was fun.